Ansary here, continuing on with our podcasts late into the night, going from topic to topic, and launching forward into this winter of 2016, 2017. But I want to talk a little bit more about the unrest psychology. And so, the conversation of martial law, unrest, and whatnot, it's really been in our consciousness quite a bit since 2007, 2008. For some people, it goes back a little bit further, prior to the whole Y2K period. I've also theorized that there's something that I call catastrophophobia that tends to occur during the solar maximums. It's like, it's a period where there seems to be more people having visions. It's like the veils are thinner when we have more solar flares. People are having visions of things to come, like the timelines coming together. And so there's prepping waves that come from these insights, as well as the instincts, the body, chronobiology, being directly impacted by the surplus of energy coming from the sun. So again, we have these booms and busts, if you will. There really are these solar-driven business cycles, if you will, to the prepping industry. Some people are ready for what's to come. Some people are not. I've stressed a lot of importance on discernment. So they're using the false Islamic invasion to create what I call adrenal fatigue. You've heard of this. It's an actual condition, and it could be caused by poor diet, too much coffee, too many cigarettes, not enough sleep, too much stress, being exposed to the wrong lights. And I do notice in the supermarket, I don't know if you notice this as well, under those fluorescent lights, and having worked at a grocery store myself, I'm aware of what prolonged exposure to those lights, its impact on consciousness. And so, like in society right now, there's just a lot there. A lot of unsettled emotions, a lot of misdirected energy and anger. And in a way, it is kind of like a kettle pot, and it hasn't even approached what I think it could look like. But these things have waves. They often follow the solar cycles. We're going into a solar minimum, but before you know it, we'll be going back into the solar maximum phase, and I think the next one will be a big one. Perhaps the solar cycle of all cycles, if you will. And there's actually, in my mind, there's no doubt, at some point we'll be getting the NASA projections for sunspot cycle 25. And, 24 was not what it was expected to be. And so we have some people going, well, we're going into an ice age. And yeah, not so convinced that this is it. However, a very large cycle that can trigger a lot of major events on the Earth can be something that, yes, in fact, is something that is the precursor to a new extended minimum, or new Mandarin minimum. And a lot of stuff's going to be happening around 2025. And I have these pinch myself moments, but the date is now becoming something that governments are talking about on a regular basis. And I talked about this is the peak of the next solar cycle. We could see this track record going 2,500 years in time using Chinese sunspot counts. Alexander Javinsky, one of the first to put this data together, to publish it. Burl Payne and others have added their 2 cents, and I've added my 2 cents, and yet the world has still chosen to not see the correlations between the sun and cycles of war and peace, but it's there. So one of the reasons why I'm not freaking out about World War III like others is because I see what they're doing. I see exactly what they're doing. And I see exactly what they're doing, where they're doing it on the timeline. And so, boom, as expected, by the middle of this year, World War III, just a regular conversation. It's just a matter of when. and how it's going to go down, not if. The ego takes a blow. I've talked about this for years. I feel like a lot of people just don't seem to have the memory to remember periods where they thought the words that I was saying too extreme, too out there. Now it's happening. But I'm saying it's staged, and this is just the beginning. And hang on to your seat, but don't freak out. Hold on to your helmet, but relax. Take a deep breath. They are psychologically prepping the population for world war at this time. That's where you're seeing the headlines about the Russians in the bunkers in Russia and all the pro-Putin propaganda that's going along with this, which is really going to end up biting Americans in the ass later on. There's a reason why they're bringing Putin up artificially to this weird status. And whatever's going on with this election and the next election. And I've said my piece on Donald Trump. And I've said my piece on reverse psychology. They've made it seem that the establishment is pro-Clinton and anti-Trump, but when you actually put on the they live sunglasses, and you see things as they are, it's a Buddhist phrase, by the way, to see things as they are, to put on the sunglasses and see what's really there. And when you put on the sunglasses and you see what's really there, you see the machine making sure that the FBI investigating Clinton is the #1 story you see when you go to news.google.com. Well, wait a minute. I thought I heard from Jeff Rentz and Alex Jones that Google was for Clinton and that they were scrubbing all negative things about Hillary Clinton. It's a conspiracy because the establishment hates Trump. And then you look again, it's like, no, I'm on news.google.com because I post news. It's a part-time job for Associates website. I look at what is mainstream and trending, and I pull multiple stories. I don't go to beforeitsnews.com. People could say what they want about the mainstream, but I do stick with real stories that I re-syndicate and share for this person's audience. I don't grab fake headlines. And by the way, in this zombie apocalypse, I will post real headlines clearly showing that there's overlap with these candidates and these governments. And yet it's like people are so broken that they still have the political messiah worship thing holding them back like some sort of weird tick, like half retarded. This is the only thing that can fix it. I'm not trying to make fun of retarded people. That's not something that I do. That's not what I'm doing now. But if you look at what's taking place here with people acting like the electoral system works and blah, 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 regardless of our view on Trump, but just, yeah, we're voting for what are you talking about? How do you go from staged terror attacks, police state camps, and, we're going to vote our way out? You go from shadow government, underground bunker, with the off-world base. I'm just throwing out stuff, just themes, folks, that you've seen heavy hitters in the alternative media cover for years to Donald Trump. I mean, what is this? What the signal from They Live was sending out the entire time? Donald Trump, whoop, whoop. Donald Trump, the establishment, Hillary for prison. Bang her in the prison. I mean, what is this? Bang her in the prison. I mean, what the fuck? Giving the control left all the talking points that look at the misogynists, look at the racists. Yes, they have all the ammunition. They have all the ammunition that they need. And the right has all the ammunition that it needs. It's a well-armed civil war, but it's not physical necessarily yet, although you see aspects of the zombie apocalypse breaking out in society. Something out of World Star Hip Hop. And, it's a parking lot brawl. But it's energetic in many cases. It's a psychic war. So right now they got this, the kettle pot. It's whistling. It's boiling. It's coming to a crescendo. All this anger. Male, female, male, black, white. All this. Just foreigner, immigrant, white person. Oh, angry, white, defensive. Everybody's after the white person. Oh, God, victim. And then all the other programs. Oh, everything else. And they get us to identify with certain identities. And oh, everybody else is against us. And we've been really played off against each other in this Tower of Babel. And what I'm trying to do with these podcasts, what I've always trying to do, is explain that we've been set against each other. The illusions of separation, it binds us to this matrix. I come back to it again and again. This is not a gimmick. This is a spiritual truth that I am bringing into this. If only the people could see this. Would they be involved in a manufactured civil unrest scenario? Riots at the election? No matter who wins? No, they'd be in a higher state of consciousness. They'd be stepping back also from looking at any of these candidates as the ultimate devil or ultimate messiah and see them as the puppets of the New World Order that they are. That Putin is, that the leadership in China is. They all are serving the same syndicate as they plan out this war. So, on the path to World War III, manufactured civil unrest as the solar cycle culminates. Did you notice the increase in geomagnetic storms in the last month? Have you heard me talk about the links between drive-by shootings and solar flares that you're actually being able to, maybe 1 to 5, depending on how many people are actually listening, going maybe 1% to 5% of those listening to these YouTube videos will notice when there's a geomagnetic storm and violence spiking in a major city or major geopolitical moves. We're on the verge of World War III. It's going to happen any day now. Here's the stare down. And notice how they did that stare down between Putin and Obama. It's like ding, ding, ding. It's like the, ooh, yeah. Like, with professional fighters and boxers, the pre-interview where, they're throwing chairs and the posses are going at it, at the press conference to announce the fight. Yes, it's Mike Tyson and some other dude, and they're brawling and they're going back and forth, and it's all set up that way. There's Obama looking down at Putin, and there's Putin looking up at Obama. It seems real. The body language is clear, and people are going, "Oh my God, look at that!" And I'm going, "This is the ultimate example of stage managed acting, as they staged many things in the past as they get ready to stage this Third World War. They prep this. This is the pre-fight conference brawl. And when you look at how primitive it is, oh my God. Wow, they really think people are stupid. So they're going to play this out like they're doing everything short of just holding up your fists. As the press takes pictures. Coming up Thursday, November 5th. Trump Casino. Vladimir Putin takes on Barack Obama in a steel cage match. I mean, what kind of audience does this shit work on? It works on an audience that's been spoon-fed that this is real. Yes, and they watch the professional wrestling, and the narrators on professional wrestling talk about it all like it's real. And you watch documentaries, by the way, of the WE, and you can learn a lot about that, about their own self-sponsored WE propaganda of the Satanic Institution, and they, kind of recreate reality and talk about the wins like they were real, the matches like they were real, and these wrestlers getting all caught up in the character like it's a real character in the real win and what it felt like to hold the title. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? What are you talking about? Holding the title? I mean, it's all control. It's part, and sometimes you play the heel and you give up the title. It's not like whether you're good or not. It's what's in the script. Why are you talking about, things like there's no script? Because they want to play that role and they want to play the superhero and they love the attention that they get from the fans. So we look at the political equivalent of it, and so interesting to see Donald Trump in the WE. There's actually a picture of him sitting next to a mobster that he claimed that he had no ties to, as they were at some sort of a WE event recently. But the links between politicians and WE and the so-called professional wrestling, it's startling. So when you literally have crossover, I mean, when you talk about in plain sight, this is some serious in plain sight stuff. So I remember talking about this in 2013. Not the first time I talked about it, but the direct connection with the solar cycle. This solar cycle going off with a pop. Not that People say that we're already in World War III, but I'm talking about the major events that lead to like cities getting attacked and things like that. We're a ways off from that. So we've been on this path for some time. And I've always seen this as a period by 2016 where, yeah, now World War III is entering the conversation, but the massive focus is civil unrest, civil unrest, civil unrest. And there are so many different civil unrest programs, like dozens that they've ran in the last several years, from Ferguson to the Black Lives Matter movement to the Burns, Oregon thing being a psyops, and I believe the Bundys being federal operatives. More than likely, a whole lot of money being doled out for many informants that the government is making sure that you are not aware of regarding the Oregon standoff case. There are just so many different things that have gone on in the last couple of years regarding massive civil unrest. And people really just get sucked into it. It's very animalistic when you have the group hive mind and they're responding to a form of tyranny. And when you look at Portland, it's like there's so much to respond to. It's like a big angry mob of misdirected aggression, really, at the city for a much deeper systemic culture of debauchery, the Portland culture of sin, if you will. Not to sound too religious, but most of you that are regular viewers that have heard my commentary on Portland, those that know Portland, you're aware of the real Portland spirit. And it's not the fault of a dude named Charlie Hales. Just got to let you know. It's kind of a bigger collective thing. So yeah, you have a lot of people from the left and the right that are just blaming local mayors and sheriff's department and politicians for a corrupted society. We got to take self-responsibility. And you got to know when to leave. When you can, it's like an alcoholic or addict coming to a state of clarity, a moment of clarity. Well, there's also a moment of clarity that somebody in the grid may come to regarding society and what's really going on. It's not just that the elections are rigged, it's that the majority of the people around us are actually buying into it full-heartedly. This extreme left and right, go at it. All our wrongs, that group. And prepping and building for some sort of crescendo. And then just this massive, predictive programming. Civil unrest after the election, but it's going to be the other person's fault and they're going to throw the election. And to see the machine just get conspiracy with it. Vote fraud, conspiracy, shadow government, Hillary Clinton, demon, new world order, WikiLeaks, Donald Trump, federalism, and just bringing all this stuff out and just distorting it. Inversion, distortion, bread and circus, a little bit of cyanide. So all of this has been going on, and a lot of people just are not aware of it. And we can shine the light on certain things, but a lot of people are just simply in violent denial. And that's what's really important. It could be a tough pill to swallow. I believe in consciousness. I believe in non-local awareness. I believe in powers of the mind, power of consciousness. And, the very things that people do regarding the law of attraction to bring themselves material wealth in the city, I think that can be used in a much more mindful way. A lot of people are here to be forced to wake up. Rather, they are whether they consciously are volunteering to go through this lesson. Some people don't like to hear about this place being called a classroom. Whether they like it or not, they are in the classroom of life. They are here to learn some lessons, some very hard lessons. And I just simply believe this to be the truth. There is just a greater reason why we're here and where we came from, what we've done before, and the things that we should do to evolve beyond this place. Maybe there's a lot of potential to evolve beyond this place at this time. It's possible. They certainly are misdirecting human imagination and creativity in whatever ways they can. And the very essence of what we are is powerful. It is a very powerful thing. But right now I can see what they've done to the alternative media, and I'm overwhelmed. One can almost say there's no hope. Why even fight it? I mean, this is bad. This is real bad. It may be, but someone at least has to comment on it. And I'm grateful that I'm able to comment on it from outside of the epicenter of the energetic zombie nuke that's gone off. I'm far from Portland. I'm far from Denver. I'm far from New York City. I'm far from Florida. So, I've worked really hard to get to this point, to have the tools at my disposal and to be able to sit here at a desk, in a 10 by 12 shed instead of an RV in, Anytown, USA. As I've been on this off-grid path for a few years now, after being involved in the alternative media for 10 years, all roads have led to this path, and I want to help some of you, to the best of my ability, unplug from this matrix. Not be held back by some of these manipulations, these attempts to rile you up, make you angry. Identify with this racial group. Identify with that racial group. Fear this group. Fear that group. Or be stuck in anger and resentment at what that group has done to you. See yourself as more than that, more than your name, more than your nationality, and see how they're trying to play us off against each other. If there's any way you can help others once you really grasp what's going on, you should help others. You should help others, and you should encourage others to help others. I don't see anything wrong with that. Some people say the road to hell has been paved with good intentions. Maybe some people just create certain catchphrases to just not even give a damn or have any good intentions. And maybe that's what's actually missing in today's day and age. Genuine, honest, good intentions. People want to see an intentional community. People need to work for an intentional community. People need to show others that an intentional community can exist and not be, some sort of fringe reality TV show. Or, you look up Off the Grid, the documentary. What do you get? You get Off the Grid live from the Mesa. Watch that documentary. Get back to me in the comment section, and you tell me if that's a conscious example of a off-grid functional community. It's not an example of that. We are living in a reality where we are faced with a truth that we're capable of so much more than this. And that humanity is not expressing all that which it is capable of. And we sit with that. Okay, and we muse upon that. And that's where we are on the map. What we have control over is our own lives. And we don't have to become a product of our environment. Apathetic, zombie-like. We can become a powerful light in a room of darkness. Sometimes, of course, we may choose to leave a room of darkness and perhaps shine our light from somewhere else, or perhaps move that light around. And perhaps people may not realize why we're doing what we're doing. But this is certainly timeless. The path of the mystic, the path of the traveler, the path of the person that has gone with few material positions, this pray to the Creator, but not in a religious sense, but has sought to know the mind of God and not fear God. That has sought to see the people free, not enslaved, under an army or under a sword. I mean, this is timeless. This is the type of reality where these things go down, where souls like this grow. And I'll conclude here. All this manufactured civil unrest, it is there to throw us off the path that we are actually here naturally, organically to be on. I'm Ansary, coming to you from Southwest Colorado, November 3rd, 2016.